A rusty fence is all that separates Success Street and the road to success for Jermaine Jenkins.
We believe that everybody should have access to quality food.
Jenkins' roots are now planted in the middle of the Chicora Cherokee neighborhood.
They taste as good as they smell coming out of the ground.
Her secret recipe, simple. Produce produce for a neighborhood in need of fruits and vegetables.
We thought this was a great way to take a problem and create a solution.
Jenkins got busy in 2014. She turned her own family's experience
we lived in public housing. You know, I did the pantries.
Into a nonprofit, Fresh Future Farms.
We took a need that we had personally as a family and turned it into something that's going to benefit a lot more people.
Feeding her neighbors, it's just the beginning.
When we start doing farm tours, this is going to be what everybody wants to take a look at.
What would bees be without the birds?
Kind of add some light from the outside. So these will be some spoiled chickens. Our hope is that the eggs are as delicious as the chickens are spoiled.
Built with pallets, straw, clay, and a few recycled bottles, these chickens won't need to scratch to get out of the door.
This will be how they come out.
Just lift the seat. You name it, and Jenkins will recycle it. Determined to help break the cycle in this low-income neighborhood, Fresh Future Farms opened a grocery store 3 weeks ago.
Because if the neighborhood doesn't have fresh produce and there's not a lot of good jobs here, why not employ people to grow the produce and sell it?
There are still more goals to be reached.
I want it to be like you go into a nice store in the suburbs that you have shiny food.
But for today,
it's making my 45-year-old self a kid again. Just to see that a seed that we put in the ground is actually producing food that can feed a neighborhood. There'll be more houses in the neighborhood, my hope is, that are growing their own produce.
Jermaine Jenkins has turned the corner in a neighborhood in need of success stories.
That's G.
Tucked away in a small corner of Goose Creek.
Page 32, Ronnie says.
They came to play.
Okay, everybody, you ready?
To sing.
This land is your land.
To heal what may be broken.
This land was made for you. Verse 3! Sometimes you just don't have a lot to smile about.
Don Oswald is the leader of the band. His wife Isabella,
drove him nuts the whole time.
the storyteller.
We must remember to listen for that still small voice of what God is telling us to do.
Together, they provide just the right tone.
It's hard to dance with a dough on your back. They bury my body and they thought I'm drunk. But I am the dance and I still go on.
For Tri-County seniors.
Dance, dance, wherever you may be. And some of the people in these homes, they don't have any relatives. They don't have any friends. We are their family. That's pretty special. 21 years we've been doing this. This is the #1 requested song. I come to the garden alone.
They make connections.
And he walks with me and he talks with me.
Both spiritually.
We do speak the gospel and the salvation message in music, in the stories that Isabel tells. It gets through, but we don't use a hammer.
And emotional.
We had a lady, her husband was a drummer in the orchestra, and we'd give him a drum and he'd just pound. And when he passed away, she made sure she came back the next time we were at that nursing home, and she said, "You don't know how much that meant to him."
Page 6, Amazing Grace.
In his last days, we gave him such joy. I mean, just think of that you help someone in their, I don't know, it's a very moving ministry when you talk with the people.
The Oswalds are graced with a merry band of musical volunteers. They provide harmony where there is discord.
Everywhere I go.
Light.
Amen.
Where there is dark.
Unbelievable. Miracles. Miracles. We've seen people who the attendants have told us they haven't talked and months, and you guys come in and they're requesting songs.
We've just fallen in love with the ministry.
Hello, everybody. God bless you. Good job, guys. Good job.
A summer swim league.
We are going to be working on our relay starts now.
Early morning practices.
Kick out as far as you can. Take mark. Yep.
It's all part of Jackson Silverman's schedule.
Yep.
It's not unusual for the James Island 11-year-old to dive in head first, no matter the activity.
I play soccer, I swim, I play football with my brothers, I go to church, I'm a Boy Scout, and I do a bunch of other things that I don't exactly remember right now.
Yep.
While he makes waves on his James Island swim team, he's made a real splash at the Low Country Food Bank.
When I heard that there were 1 in 4 kids were hungry in Charleston County, I was very, very, very upset. And I wanted to do lots and lots more to help it so it would become 0 out of 4.
Jackson is the driving force behind the nonprofit I Heart Hungry Kids.
I packed bags of food when I was a little kid at my church, and I kept thinking and asking questions, and it carried over until I was 7. And I wanted to start an initiative to make a nonprofit to feed hungry kids who can't get food to eat.
Once a month during the school year, Jackson and his team of volunteers bag food for kids in need.
I go out into the community and do lots of talks at schools, at 4-H clubs, all over the place. And I get these kids and I inspire them to come and help out.
And does it work?
Yes.
50 kids grew to 180. Dozens of bags now total 21,000. All from a kid who understands the power of giving at 11.
Yes, I've met one of the kids that actually received one of the bags we packed, and she came and packed more bags, and it made me so grateful because I saw that when somebody received something from us, they wanted to help other kids have that same feeling.
There you go.
Jackson's next stroke of genius, he wants to expand his nonprofit from the Low Country to the state to the nation.
There you
A
go.
lofty goal, but well within Jackson's reach.
Dear Mom and Dad, I am so sorry, but I really can't do this anymore.
If you didn't know, you would never know.
I have felt trapped for so long, and I don't want to feel this way anymore.
She hid it all,
There is nothing you could have done. I can't even help myself.
did her best to blend in,
I now hate myself as much as everyone tells me that they hate me.
until the pain became too much.
I'm sorry, and I love you all. Emily.
Now, everyone knows.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to talk to everyone today.
And Emily Torchiana wouldn't have it any other way.
All I remember is waking up to my older brother banging on the door and actually broke down my door as I was passed out in my own vomit from trying to commit suicide. How could you ever do this? Like, we had no idea any of this was happening. Why wouldn't you tell us?
The trouble began her freshman year in high school. She was cyberbullied.
And the rumors were all about me they would call me a slut, a whore, saying I was sleeping around with people. And then they'd be like, no one likes a girl like that, no one likes you. But I'm very religious and I'm saving sex for marriage. And at that point, I think I'd only kissed like 2 boys, maybe. And so it was so far from the truth.
It continued into her sophomore year. The damage was done. The final nail, a text message. Her best friend had died of brain cancer.
When she passed away, that was kind of when I was like, I really don't want to be here anymore. I've tried everything and there's no really point to live. And just remember looking at myself, feeling so ashamed and feeling so badly about myself and just being like, this is it. I don't want to wake up.
21 years old.
Those people that I had known since I was 4 years old writing horrible stuff about me.
5 years removed from her suicide attempt.
And I looked up and actually saw this message.
Emily now speaks freely about being a survivor.
And I'm not sharing my story with people to get like compliments or anything like, look how strong you are. That's not what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for the people that are currently struggling and currently feeling like they can't reach out to anyone and hoping that I can help them in some way. Put your hand over your heart, and if you feel that heartbeat, that's your purpose. When you wake up in the morning and you feel your heartbeat, you know that you are here for a reason and that this world would literally be not the same without you. Hey, Sierra. Good, how are you?
Courageous in her words, committed to her conviction, Emily is inspiring others to live.
Prior to hearing you speak today, I've had constant suicidal thoughts and was planning on acting on them this week. I no longer feel alone, and I reached out to my parents right after I heard you talk. Thank you. Thank you for saving my life. I don't think people realize that sometimes one small comment can affect someone so negatively.
Emily's reach is not limited to speeches. She recently produced a 2-minute video. Her hope is to shatter the mental health stigma.
My dad, after I made the video, texted me saying, "I want you to know you're my hero." And I think I used to see myself as a background character in other people's lives. But now I see myself as my own character in my own story.
Already a bestseller.
And I'm so happy that my older brother didn't have to walk in and see my dead body on the ground rather than seeing that I'm able to recover.
With so many chapters left to write.
Well, thanks, guys. I really appreciate you letting me speak and for you guys listening. It means a lot. Thank you.
It's not so much a shrine, but a daily reminder that even the heart of a warrior can break.
This is done with a razor. He has the arrow and the lion for strength and bravery in his heart, and then Creighton in his lacrosse stick with 22 on it, which is beautiful.
Creighton Shipman was the oldest of 4.
He was the first baby born in Mount Pleasant in 1997.
The born leader of the Shipman pack.
He was a fabulous brother. He loved his sister and brothers more than anything in this entire world, and his family. And he loved life. Always outdoors, always exercising, always playing with neighbors, like little kids, or throwing the football and talking. I mean, he didn't meet a stranger. He had that gift of making everybody feel invited.
The invitation to play college lacrosse, 22 Creighton Shipman, followed an outstanding high school career. But the summer brought change. The childlike playfulness started to slip.
Brass is super shiny, and I feel like that's how we all are. We have that twinkle, that zest, whatever our personalities are. That's what we are. And that summer, it was still bright, but not as bright.
Creighton's inner battle simmered his freshman year at Mars Hill.
Got his grades, and he did not do fine. He failed everything but one.
Spring semester, he walked, quit his team. Another change, his appearance.
He was I say very skinny, but when, he was lean anyway, but he was very skinny and had real hollow looking eyes, like circles, and exhausted looking.
His behavior became more erratic.
We got into an argument, and Creighton was extremely disrespectful. And I say disrespectful, it's just respect and love are the two biggest things in our family. Respect to yourself, to others, and how he was not him.
His first summer home from college would be short-lived.
This is not okay. And this is not okay. And it shows me the choice is gone. You need to get help. And so I told him that he had to leave. And that was the hardest thing I've ever done up to that point in my life, to ask somebody to leave that you love.
The shine, now nearly gone. At the age of 19, a secret had turned this child's world upside down.
Until someone's ready to own the walk they're walking, they're not going to tell you, even if they love you more than anything, they're not going to own it till they're ready.
A month out of the house, Creighton was ready. He called for help and checked into a Georgia rehab center.
He was there a month, and I got a letter from him, and that's the only way we had means of communication, is through letters. And he said that it was important to be honest. Mom, this is just for you. I've been doing heroin for around 7 months, starting in November, shooting it for around 3 months. I was not expecting it. I don't know I think I was expecting probably anything else but that. That's a word that, heroin is a word that's hard to say. It's something hard to read.
The road home would only be harder. Creighton's final week in rehab, his behavior changed, his plans changed. Nancy did exactly what she was supposed to do.
Asking him to move out was nothing compared to telling him that I couldn't bring him home. Because all I wanted to do is bring him home. But that's not supporting his life and family and recovery.
Once again, Creighton turned and walked, left rehab. 5 miles away, Nancy saw him at a coffee shop on her way back to Charleston.
And he was like, "Hey, Mom." And I was so happy. And then I broke down. I'm like, "Please go back to Wheeling Way. Please, let's go to the recovery house. We'll get help. You just need a little bit more help." And I asked him 3 times, and he was adamant no all 3 times. And so I said, "Okay, well, I've got to go back to Charleston." And we hugged each other, and I said, "I love you very, very much." And I kissed him on the cheek, and he held me tighter, and he's like, "I love you too, Mom, very much." And then I had to walk back to my car and leave. And that's the last time I saw him alive. Or that's the last time I saw him awake.
Creighton Shipman died 2 days later in Columbia on July 17th, 125 miles from rehab. He overdosed on heroin.
This is something that when we were around Creighton's bed that Sunday, my daughter and boys, we were around Creighton, and my daughter looked at me and she said, "We've got to do something about this." We made that promise as a family, and everything we've done up to this point is made as a family. And that's the promise we made to Creighton.
This victim is not faceless. He's a son and a brother and a grandson. Now his mother wants to put a face on this disease for other families.
I'm one of many, many, many. You know, Creighton is my son that I love, but Creighton represents everyone. Everyone that has been lost to the disease, that's battling this disease, all these family members and families that just needed someone to say, "You're not alone."
The Shipmans are not alone. Creighton's number filled by friends and family on the field where he excelled. Red Solo Cups still serve as a reminder 3 months after his death.
When I got that letter, you know, it was lonely because I felt very embarrassed and ashamed and scared. I was scared to death. And when we came back, I realized that we're strong and we're loved.
Matthew calls for rest, but Nancy cannot, simply will not. She made a promise to her 19-year-old son, and her gift to that playful child, will save a life, maybe even today.
This is so cute with his hand fabric. I love this.
Voices do carry.
I ended up getting that for 50 cents a yard.
One
We're talking.
a bit further than all others.
3 o'clock in the morning for weeks, the Lord would wake me up, and I didn't know what. It was just weird every day, every morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I finally said, what, Lord? It's like, "I want you to buy a sewing machine." And I opened up one eye and I looked around. I thought, can't possibly be talking to me. I didn't know you could buy sewing machines.
But he was. And so she did.
Just a simple $85 sewing machine from Walmart.
And it didn't stop.
And he started waking me up again in the middle of the night. Take it out of the box and use it.
Before Sue Desentel put the pedal to the metal, there was this.
Never sewed until I was 55. And I couldn't understand the directions. I couldn't understand. I started watching YouTube videos. I never even watched YouTube. And I had to watch it 87 times to learn how to thread the machine. And I'm just like, "Lord, you know I'm old."
Sue jumped into the spool head first.
I thought that's why God invented Walmart.
First sewing for her disabled grandchild.
She is my motivation. She is my inspiration. You know, at one time they told us she would probably never clap her hands, but she claps every day for herself.
And Sue sews every day.
I'm thinking, why didn't I get a manicure?
This is so cute with his hand fabric. I love this.
And she's not alone.
I learned the pressing. That was so important.
So important.
Dozens of women poured their hearts into Clap Your Hands, all the while prayers were being answered.
We'd be down to $3. And I'd say, "Lord, if you want this to continue, I have to have money." And 4 separate times, different people came to my house, and they never do that, knocked on the door and said they wanted to give me $100 in cash so I could get some more pellets or more. I mean, who does that?
The nonprofit produces therapeutic products like weighted blankets, items that would set families back hundreds of dollars.
One more thing they have to pay for, and they can't afford it. And so who suffers? The kids suffer. Not here, not in this area. And 100% free, all the time.
A glaring need met. The pieces have come together.
Oh yeah.
One stitch.
Kathy's a worker.
At a time.
The biggest majority of parents is that they cry. They'll write me and say, I'm sitting here in tears because this is the first time my child has ever slept through the night. I mean, what kind of a payday is that? That's the best payday ever, you know?
You doing good?
All because this grandma was still long enough to listen.
We all want one thing, is for the kids to do the best they can do, and I've got a personal stake in that.
And faithful enough to act. It's front porch living at its finest. Everyone greeted with a grateful bark. Even the wind can't quiet the call of the wild.
We're spoiled because we do have the ability to give them a forever home. Once they're in the gate, they're promised a home for the rest of their life if they need it.
Welcome to Hallie Hill.
I know you want more.
A no-kill sanctuary, home to 150 Sunsplash dogs and 50 acres of unconditional love.
If they can't get in a home, we spoil them rotten here, you know, and that's what the staff and the volunteers are great about. Sometimes we have some that are ill.
Hallie Hill, this is Dana.
Leading the pack of volunteers, Dana Treadway Clark.
I kind of like the underdogs. So we're going to go meet Herbert, and Herbert's old, and he's got a wonky walk. He's kind of bow-legged. He's got warts all over him. He's a pit bull. He's got lots of strikes. Are you scared, baby? And he loves me, and I love him. It's just so rewarding, especially when a shy dog won't come to you for the longest time and then comes up and wants to be your friend. And that's really great. Yes, it's okay. It's okay, baby.
Dana has the touch and the commitment. She's focused on these animals 6 days a week.
You want a cookie? You want a cookie, baby? Oh, my sweet boy. I was in a high-stress job for all those years, and I came out here, and the people are wonderful. The animals are wonderful. You can tell that you've done something by the end of the day. You feel good about it. You know, it's not just you think tomorrow's going to be another terrible day. It's tomorrow's going to be another good day. Tuck had been hit by a car. I think you see how his whole back end doesn't work. I know all of them. Go get it, Tuck. Was there a stick there, Gunner?
She carries this promise from the doghouse to the kitty kennels.
I hear you.
A cat whisperer.
Someone found him at a dump, and he was about starved to death.
To the 50 felines living the good life. Dana is truly the cat's meow. These animals have a forever home at Hallie Hill. If there's an itch, it will get scratched.
All right, drop it.
A game of tug-of-war? Done.
Drop it, Belzer.
It is a 24/7 hands-on operation.
I have a toy.
And beyond a shadow of a doubt, Dana Treadway Clark
Hi, little Roxy.
is more than just man's best friend.
Hey, you big old slobbery boy. The way they do everything here is unbelievable, and I love it.